I had just finished a long day at work, and all I wanted was a hot, cheesy pizza to devour. I picked up my phone and dialed the number for Tony's Pizza, a local joint known for their mouth-watering pies. The anticipation of that delicious slice was all that kept me going as I waited for the delivery. The clock on my wall ticked away, and I could almost taste the pizza when the doorbell finally rang. I practically flew to the door, my mouth watering in anticipation. But as I swung the door open, I was met with a sight that sent a shiver down my spine. Standing there was not the delivery driver I had expected, but a tall, gaunt figure cloaked in shadows. The dim porch light illuminated their hollow eyes and thin, pallid face. They held out a pizza box, their bony fingers trembling. "Your pizza, sir," the figure rasped, their voice like dry leaves rustling in the wind. I hesitated, my craving for pizza warring with my unease at this strange encounter. Still, my hunger got the best of me, and I cautiously took the box from the figure's outstretched hand. "Thanks," I muttered, my voice trembling. Without a word, the figure turned and disappeared into the night, leaving me standing there in the doorway, my heart pounding. I shook off my unease and closed the door, eager to indulge in my pizza. I carried the box to the kitchen and set it on the counter. My mouth watered as I lifted the lid, revealing the cheesy, pepperoni-covered goodness within. I couldn't wait to sink my teeth into that first bite. But as I reached for a slice, something caught my eye. A small slip of paper tucked beneath the pizza. I pulled it out, unfolding it with a sense of curiosity. The message was scrawled in shaky handwriting, and it sent a chill down my spine. "Beware the topping." I frowned, my appetite waning. What did that even mean? I examined the pizza closely, but it looked like any other pepperoni pizza I had ever ordered. I couldn't see anything unusual about the toppings. Deciding it was probably just a prank, I shrugged off my uneasy and took a bite. The flavors exploded in my mouth, and for a moment, I forgot all about the strange encounter at the door. But as I chewed, I began to notice something odd. The pepperoni had a peculiar taste, unlike anything I had ever experienced. I swallowed hard, a sense of dread creeping over me. I lifted another slice and examined it more closely. That's when I saw it. The pepperoni slices were not what they seemed. They were tiny, perfect replicas of human eyes. My heart raced as I realized the horrifying truth. The message had been a warning, and I had ignored it. I had just taken a bite of a pizza topped with human eyes. I gagged, bile rising in my throat. I rushed to the sink, desperately trying to wash away the taste, but it lingered, haunting me like a nightmare. I knew I had to call the police, but I also knew that the pizza delivery was no ordinary prank. As I dialed 911, I heard a whisper behind me, a chilling voice that sent shivers down my spine. "You should have heeded the warning," it hissed. I turned, my heart pounding, and there, standing in my kitchen, was the gaunt figure once again. This time, they were holding a pizza cutter, their eyes gleaming with malevolence. I screamed and fled the kitchen, rushing for the front door. But it was locked, and I could hear the figure approaching behind me. Panic surged through me as I realized there was no escape. With a sickening jolt, I woke up, my heart still racing, drenched in sweat. It had all been a nightmare, a twisted, horrifying dream. I sighed with relief, grateful that it was just a product of my overactive imagination. But as I climbed out of bed and stumbled into the kitchen for a glass of water, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The pizza box from Tony's Pizza sat on the counter, the lid still closed. I blinked in confusion, my heart sinking as I realized that the nightmare might not be over after all. I approached the pizza box cautiously, my hands trembling with a mixture of dread and curiosity. It was as if the nightmare had followed me into the waking world, and the line between reality and dreams had blurred. Taking a deep breath, I slowly lifted the lid of the pizza box, half expecting to find the gruesome sight of human eyes once again. But to my relief, what I saw inside was a perfectly normal pepperoni pizza. The slices were topped with savory pepperoni, gooey cheese, and a rich tomato sauce, no human eyes in sight. I let out a nervous chuckle, berating myself for letting a dream get the best of me. It was just a nightmare, I told myself, nothing more. Still, the lingering unease gnawed at the edges of my mind. I grabbed a slice of pizza and took a cautious bite, savoring the familiar flavors. It tasted like any other delicious pizza I had ordered from Tony's before, and my worries began to fade away. Chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. It had been a bizarre dream, but there was no reason to let it ruin my appetite or my night. Just as I was beginning to relax, a sudden sound made me freeze mid-bite. It was a soft, eerie whisper, barely audible but unmistakable. The voice seemed to come from the pizza itself. "Beware, the topping," it hissed. My heart pounded in my chest as I stared at the slice of pizza in my hand. The words had not been a part of my dream. They were real, and they were coming from the very food I was eating. I dropped the pizza slice onto the plate, my mind racing. This couldn't be happening. It was impossible. Yet, there was no denying what I had heard. Trembling, I picked up the slice again, examining it closely. The pepperoni looked perfectly normal, but the voice had come from somewhere. I had to know the truth. With a deep breath, I carefully peeled off one of the pepperoni slices and held it up to the light. What I saw sent a shiver down my spine. The pepperoni slice had transformed it into a tiny, glistening eye staring up at me with an eerie intensity. Panic surged through me as I realized that the nightmare had returned and it was now a horrifying reality. I stumbled back from the kitchen table, knocking over my chair in the process. The voice from the pizza grew louder, filling the room with its chilling warning. Beware, the topping. I had to escape, to get away from this malevolent food that seemed to defy all reason. But as I rushed to the front door, I realized that it was locked, just like in my dream. I was trapped in my own home, with the pizza and its haunting message. Desperation set in as I searched for a way out. The windows were all sealed shut, and the voice from the pizza seemed to mock my futile attempts to escape. In a final act of desperation, I grabbed the pizza cutter from the kitchen counter and lunged at the pizza, slashing it to pieces. The eerie voice faded into a distorted whisper, and the slices of pepperoni returned to their normal state. I fell to the floor, panting and trembling, my heart still racing. The nightmare had taken on a life of its own, a waking terror that defied all explanation. I knew I had to find a way to break free from its grip, to unravel the mystery of the haunted pizza. But for now, I was left with the unsettling feeling that the nightmare was far from over, and that the warning from the pizza had only been the beginning of a deeper, more sinister reality. The rain was pouring down relentlessly, a torrential downpour that had turned the streets into rivers. I was huddled in my cozy apartment, craving comfort food to chase away the gloomy weather. Pizza was the perfect choice, and I dialed the number for Mario's Pizzeria, a local joint known for their delicious pies. The doorbell rang, and I eagerly rushed to answer it, ready to devour a slice of cheesy goodness. But as I swung the door open, I was met with a chilling sight. A pizza delivery guy, drenched from head to toe, standing in the pouring rain with a pizza box in hand. "Sorry about the weather," he said with a forced smile, water dripping from his cap. "Here's your pizza." I felt a pang of guilt for the soaked delivery guy, and I quickly took the pizza from him, handing him a generous tip. "Stay dry," I said, offering a sympathetic smile. He nodded, mumbled a thanks, and turned to leave. As he walked away, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. There was something off about him, something in the way he had looked at me, but I brushed it off as my imagination playing tricks on me. I brought the pizza to the kitchen, my mouth watering with anticipation. I opened the box, revealing a steaming hot pie topped with all my favorite ingredients. It looked absolutely delicious, and I couldn't wait to dig in. But as I grabbed a slice and took a bite, a strange taste filled my mouth. It was unlike any pizza I had ever had before, a peculiar mix of flavors that made my stomach churn. I examined the pizza closely and noticed something odd. The cheese seemed to be moving. I recoiled in horror as I realized that the cheese was not cheese at all, but a writhing mass of maggots. Disgust surged through me, and I felt bile rise in my throat. I had just taken a bite of a pizza infested with maggots. I gagged and spat out the foul mouthful, my stomach churning with revulsion. I rushed to the sink, desperately trying to rid my mouth of the taste, but it lingered like a nightmare. My mind raced with horror as I realized that the pizza delivery guy had delivered a grotesque, contaminated pie. I had to call the pizzeria and report this immediately. I grabbed my phone and dialed the number for Mario's Pizzeria, but to my surprise, the line was dead. No dial tone, no response, just eerie silence. Panic welled up within me as I realized that I was alone in my apartment, with a contaminated pizza and no way to contact the pizzeria. I knew I had to get out, to escape this nightmare, but as I rushed to the front door, I froze in my tracks. Standing there, blocking my path, was the same pizza delivery guy, drenched and menacing, his eyes gleaming with a malevolent intent. "You didn't enjoy the pizza?" he hissed, his voice a chilling whisper. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in terror. How had he gotten back here so quickly? It was impossible. With a predatory smile, he advanced toward me, and I knew that there was no escape. I had been lured into a trap, and the pizza delivery guy was not who he appeared to be. As he reached out for me, I screamed, my voice echoing through the empty apartment. But there was no one to hear me, no one to rescue me from this horrifying ordeal. The rain continued to pour outside, a relentless downpour that masked my cries for help. I was trapped in a nightmare of my own making, a twisted reality where a simple pizza delivery had become a harrowing battle for survival. And as the pizza delivery guy closed in on me, his grin widening, I knew that there was no going back. The taste of that contaminated pizza would haunt me forever, a reminder of the unspeakable horrors that lurked in the most unexpected places. With every step the pizza delivery guy took, my fear intensified. His eyes bore into mine, devoid of any humanity, and his smile revealed rows of sharp, gleaming teeth. I had stumbled into a nightmare, and there was no way out. I backed away from him, my heart pounding like a drum. My mind raced, desperately seeking an escape plan. The front door was blocked, and the windows were sealed shut. I was trapped with this sinister figure in my own apartment. As I fumbled for my phone, the delivery guy lunged at me, his movements unnaturally fast. I managed to dial 911 just in time, and I screamed my address into the phone, hoping that someone on the other end would hear my desperate plea. But the delivery guy was upon me, his cold fingers closing around my throat, cutting off my cries for help. I gasped for breath, my vision growing blurry as I struggled to break free from his grip. In a last-ditch effort, I swung my elbow with all the strength I could muster, catching him by surprise. He let out a guttural growl of pain and released his hold on me. I stumbled back, gasping for air, and made a run for the bathroom. I slammed the bathroom door shut and locked it, my heart pounding in my chest. I could hear the delivery guy's heavy breathing on the other side, his voice a low, sinister whisper. "You can't hide from me," he taunted. "I always deliver." I searched the bathroom for anything that could be used as a weapon, my hands trembling with fear. My eyes fell on a heavy ceramic soap dispenser, and I grabbed it, ready to defend myself. The delivery guy continued to taunt me from the other side of the door, his voice growing more and more deranged. It was as if he derived pleasure from my terror, relishing in the torment he was inflicting. Minutes turned into hours as I barricaded myself in the bathroom, my mind racing for a way out of this nightmare. I knew that I couldn't stay hidden forever, that I had to confront this sinister figure and put an end to his reign of terror. With a deep breath, I flung the bathroom door open, ready to face whatever awaited me on the other side, but to my astonishment, the apartment was empty. The delivery guy had vanished, leaving no trace behind. I rushed to the front door and threw it open, scanning the hallway for any sign of him, but he was gone. It was as if he had never been there in the first place. The police arrived shortly after, responding to my frantic 911 call. I recounted the terrifying ordeal, but they found no evidence of the pizza delivery guy or the contaminated pizza. It was as if he had melted into thin air. As I sat in the safety of my apartment, I couldn't help but wonder if it had all been a hallucination, a twisted product of my own imagination. But the fear and trauma I had experienced were all too real. I would never forget that night. The night when a simple pizza delivery had turned into a chilling encounter with a malevolent force. The taste of that contaminated pizza would forever linger in my nightmares, a reminder that evil could lurk in the most unexpected places, ready to strike when you least expect it. It was a dark and stormy night, the kind of evening that made me crave the warmth of comfort food. I decided to order a pizza from a nearby pizzeria, Pizza Palace, known for their quirky toppings and fast delivery. The doorbell rang, and I eagerly opened it, anticipating the cheesy delight that was about to arrive. But what I saw at the doorstep was not a delivery person, but a small, wooden puppet. It had beady eyes and a painted-on grin, and it held a pizza box in its tiny, jointed hands. I blinked in confusion, trying to make sense of the surreal sight before me. "Did you bring my pizza?" I asked, half expecting the puppet to spring to life. To my astonishment, the puppet nodded vigorously and extended the pizza box toward me. I couldn't help but chuckle at the bizarre scenario and accepted the box. Thanks, I guess. With that, the puppet turned and shuffled away, leaving me standing at the doorway, pizza in hand, and a bemused smile on my face. I brought the pizza into the kitchen and opened the box, revealing a perfectly normal-looking pizza. It was topped with pepperoni, mushrooms, and gooey cheese, nothing out of the ordinary. I shrugged off the odd delivery and grabbed a slice, taking a bite. To my surprise, the pizza was absolutely delicious, with a perfect balance of flavors. I couldn't help but wonder if there was more to this quirky pizzeria than met the eye. Perhaps the puppet delivery was just a clever marketing gimmick. As I continued to enjoy my meal, I noticed something strange about the wooden puppet. It seemed to be watching me, its beady eyes following my every move. I dismissed it as a trick of the light, but the feeling of being observed lingered. I finished my meal and left the pizza box on the kitchen counter, intending to throw it away later. But as I turned to leave the kitchen, I heard a soft, high-pitched voice that sent a shiver down my spine. "Thank you for the meal." I froze, my heart pounding as I turned back to the pizza box. The voice had come from the wooden puppet, and it was now sitting upright on the counter, its painted grin widening. "You're welcome," I stammered, my voice trembling. "Who or what are you?" The puppet's eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement as it spoke. "I am Pizza Pete, the delivery puppet. I bring joy and flavor to those who dare to try our pizzas." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. A talking pizza delivery puppet? It was beyond bizarre. "I've been delivering pizzas for centuries," Pizza Pete continued. "But you, my friend, are a special customer. You have a unique taste, and I think you deserve something even more special." Before I could react, the puppet's wooden limbs sprang to life, and it reached into the pizza box. With a swift, graceful movement, it plucked a small golden key from the depths of the box and presented it to me. "Take this key," Pizza Pete said, his voice filled with mystery. "It will unlock a world of flavors you've never imagined. Use it wisely, and your taste buds will thank you." I hesitated for a moment, my mind racing with disbelief. But the allure of new flavors and culinary adventures proved too tempting to resist. I accepted the key from Pizza Pete, who nodded in approval. With a wave of his wooden hand, the puppet shuffled toward the window and, in a blink, disappeared into the night. I was left standing in my kitchen, holding a golden key and wondering what culinary secrets awaited me. Little did I know that this strange encounter with Pizza Pete would lead me on a gastronomic adventure beyond my wildest dreams, where each door unlocked a new and unexpected flavor, and each bite was a tantalizing journey into the unknown. The golden key burned brightly in my hand, its intricate design hinting at the secrets it held. As I stared at it, I couldn't help but wonder what kind of culinary adventure awaited me. The encounter with Pizza Pete, the talking delivery puppet, had turned a simple pizza order into a surreal experience, and I was both excited and apprehensive about what lay ahead. With a sense of curiosity, I decided to explore the possibilities that the key offered. I had no idea where to start, but something told me that the answers could be found in the world of Pizza Palace, the enigmatic pizzeria that had introduced me to Pizza Pete. The next evening, I returned to Pizza Palace, the familiar aroma of freshly baked pizza filling the air as I stepped inside. The place was surprisingly empty, with only a few patrons scattered around. I approached the counter, where a young woman with bright blue hair and a friendly smile greeted me. "Welcome to Pizza Palace. How can I help you today?" she asked. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to explain my unusual predicament. Finally, I decided to take a leap of faith and show her the golden key. "I received this key with my pizza last night. A wooden puppet named Pizza Pete delivered it to me." The woman's eyes widened in recognition, and she nodded. "Ah, Pizza Pete. He's our most unique delivery method. You're one of the lucky few who've been chosen for something special. Follow me." She led me to a back room, where a massive wooden door stood, adorned with intricate carvings. It looked like something out of a fairy tale. The woman inserted the golden key into the door's ornate lock and turned it. With a creak and a groan, the door swung open, revealing a dimly lit corridor beyond. "This is the flavor vault," she explained. "Pizza Pete has been delivering keys to select customers, inviting them to explore the world of taste that lies within. Each room is a unique culinary experience. Are you ready to unlock your first flavor?" I nodded, my heart pounding with excitement. The woman handed me a lantern to light my way, and I stepped into the corridor, the door closing behind me with a heavy thud. The corridor was lined with doors, each one different from the next, and each one beckoning me to explore. I approached the first door and inserted the golden key into the lock. With a turn, the door swung open, revealing a world of color and fragrance. I stepped inside and found myself in a lush garden bursting with exotic fruits and vibrant flowers. The air was thick with the scent of citrus and tropical blooms, and I could hear the faint chirping of birds in the distance. In the center of the garden stood a table laden with an array of fruits I had never seen before. Each one was more enticing than the last, and I couldn't resist reaching out to taste them. With each bite, I was transported to a different corner of the world, savoring the flavors of far-off lands. As I explored room after room, I discovered culinary wonders beyond my wildest dreams. I sampled dishes from ancient civilizations, indulged in desserts that defied gravity, and experienced taste sensations that transcended the ordinary. But with each room I unlocked, I also felt a growing sense of responsibility. The golden key was a gift, but it was also a trust. I had been chosen to explore the flavor vault, to unlock its culinary secrets, and to share them with the world. As I stood before the final door, I knew that this was my moment of reckoning. Behind it lay the most extraordinary flavor of all, a taste that would define my journey and leave a lasting mark on the world of food. I inserted the golden key into the lock, turned it, and pushed the door open. What I found inside took my breath away. A culinary masterpiece that blended tradition and innovation, flavor and artistry, in a way that defied description. I realized then that the true magic of the flavor vault was not in the individual rooms or the exotic dishes, but in the passion and creativity that had brought them to life. It was a testament to the power of food to transcend boundaries and bring people together in the shared experience of taste. and as I savored the final flavor, I knew that my journey was far from over. The Flavor Vault had opened my eyes to a world of culinary possibilities, and I was determined to share its secrets with the world, one dish at a time. With the golden key in my hand and the memory of Pizza Pete's enigmatic delivery, I embarked on a culinary adventure that would change my life forever.